Good morning, everyone. Namaste. Thanks for tuning in as always. Now, I'm going to talk about what energies are coming up this week for you from June the 7th to the 12th. We have this strawberry full moon. This is actually one of my photos I took a while back with the strawberry full moon here. So I just thought I would use that full moon as my background. You can check out my photography at Jenny G Photography on Instagram if you want to see it and so on. I'm around a few different places, but anyways, so that's why I have this background here because this Sagittarius full moon, it's known as the strawberry full moon, not new moon, full moon. So this is, they call it the strawberry full moon because this is the season when, people start picking strawberries and so on, depending where you're living, right? However, let's start off by subscribing to my channel right down there. Please like my videos, make some comments, let me know what's going on with you guys and so on and so on. So let's start it off here. What are we expecting here from June the 7th and 8th roughly? We are in Cancer season. So happy birthday to my fellow Cancerians. Happy birthday, right? How many of you are Cancers? How many of you are celebrating a birthday this month? Make sure you celebrate you. I always say to people, celebrate yourself. You don't have to have a birthday. You don't have to have an occasion. It's irrelevant. You're going to really see this week that it's really, really important to reset things even more, especially with this full moon. Especially because you're going to be wanting to focus on where do I want changes. I've even booked certain appointments myself for things that I'm going to be changing and all of these different things and avoiding. But when you work with the energy, it works with you. So that's why I do these certain videos. So that way there's certain days that works better with the others and so on. So you're going to find that this week you're going to be feeling a little bit more empowered. You're going to be feeling more strong. You're going to be a lot more intuitive. So really pay attention to where you're getting guided to. There's a lot of growth. Like we all go through different things in our life and so on, and where are you guys now compared to where you were months ago? You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't realize just how much we have moved forward until we really, really look back. So you're going to find that you're going to be a lot more passionate during this time. You're going to be like, what projects do I really want to get going? But be really patient at the same time, right? This is the time to make long-term goals. I'm always saying make long-term goals because with this universal energy of 9, this is about completion and so on this year. And this is year to make long-term plans. And you might even start doing that even more so this week. And this is the time when it's like, what opportunities are coming in for me? Maybe you were recently being offered like a new job or whatever it is, like a new opportunity with something, the past few days, and you guys are like, wow, I actually jumped on that opportunity. So if you go back and watch my other videos, you'll see when you would have seen even more opportunities coming in for you. Look back on it because you'll see certain dates and so on. So this could be the week that you're like, wow, I'm glad I really made that decision. I'm glad I really manifested that opportunity because this is a week where I'm just going to kick it up a few notches and see where spirit's going to lead me to. You will see that. You will definitely see, and you could even see your destiny being unfolded during this week as well, where you're going to be looking ahead of time and saying, I'm so glad I jumped on this opportunity because now I know that this is the direction that I want to move towards or to make changes with. So that's why it's really important to pay attention. Do really makes you feel good. Pursue it. Don't hold yourself back. You know what I mean? Why? Why would you hold yourself back? Fear, of course, we all go into our fear zones and stuff like that. But when we start facing our fears, new doors start opening. oh my gosh, I had to have the talk with that person, or I had to put my notice in work, or I had to, whatever it is. And where are you now? Oh gosh, I'm feeling so much better, like I had to put my notice into my job, let's say, and I was really nervous because all of these things. But once you have done that, you're feeling more liberated. Or some of you made a, like faced your boss and say, I'm really nervous because I'm hearing all of these rumors I'm going to get let go, or there's all of these different changes. So it's important to always speak up when you have concerns. That's why we have a voice as well, to address our concerns. So this is the time where some of you have taken even more bold risks, stepping forwards with things, especially last week when that started, and that can continue on this week. Now, if you are a Cancerian, by the way, you could be a little bit more emotional. And so, however, you could be more expressive, like really expressing yourself more. You're going to see your worth even more as well, and a lot of growth. This is why it's like when you look back, where are you now? Like, what have you been through? You could see more of like your domestic situation and home life and everything like that. There's a lot of growth with certain changes that you've made. When we observe things and what did I learn from that, or all of that, you're going to see a big difference. However, if you're a Capricorn, use a little bit more caution whenever you're communicating, because there might be a little bit of challenges for you on the 7th and the 8th. And it's really important to speak from your heart. Like I always tell people, speak from your heart. There's so much negativity out there. You have to speak from your heart and keep it real, because things can go the opposite direction, if we don't do that. So now Aries and Libra, you might find that you also, by the way, have to be very careful with your words. With your words. It could get a little bit emotional, and it's important during this time to show a little bit more compassion and empathy, because you might have ended situations. You might have stepped over your comfort zone, or you know what I mean? It's just, don't worry about so much what everybody else is doing, right? Just really focus on yourself even more, but you know, use empathy towards more other people. You will see that you might be a little bit more compassionate towards other people. You know, everybody is experiencing many things, and some people don't talk about it, some people do, right? We're all going through a lot of different changes and so many different levels, and it's been going on for quite some time, even more so these past few years, as more and more and more changes are coming here. So if you're like more of a Virgo Gemini, you might be like, I just need some space for me. I want to have more quiet time. You could be going through even like more of an emotional healing. Really pay attention, because you could be a lot more intuitive as well. Like you're letting go of just so much you've been through, and you're releasing that. So it could get a little bit more emotional, and really take a look back on what changes you went through and what you went through. So you could be like, I need a little bit of space right now. No, I'm good, thanks. I'm gonna handle this on my own, or maybe I'm just gonna sit back and read a book, or like whatever it is. Go on your own comfort zone. Where, if you're a Taurus, you could find that if you are dealing, let's say, with real estate matters, there could be a lot of, like success coming your way. There could be a lot of luck on your side. There could be a lot of like more support from family coming to you. And it's really important that you nurture yourself as well. Like nurture your environment. Like you might be like, what, maybe I'm going to go buy myself some flowers, or maybe I'm just going to take a long bath, or maybe I'm just going to, like, whatever it is, nurture yourself as well. Because there is a lot of love and support around you right now, too. Like sometimes we can feel very alone or lonely and such like that. And that can be a really positive side you're moving forward, right? But you might find that your family is going to be a lot more supportive for you during this time as well, with, certain things that you're going true in that. So during this week as well, you're going to be seeing your worth a lot more. Really pay attention to that and look at your surroundings, your environment, where you're at. You know what I mean? You're going to want to start even decluttering or making certain changes and everything like that. And you're going to want to be a lot more refreshed and renewed and restored this week. All of us, right? But if you continue to do things the normal way that you've always done, you're not going to see changes, right? You know, we all need to make changes with things. It's like when things are working, keep on the same path and such like that. But when you're like, I'm feeling kind of stuck, what do I do? What direction do I go? Start writing it down, what you want to change and so on. Because what you want to do is come in more in alignment with your true self this week. This strawberry full moon is going to help you kind of push it a little bit. It's really important not to get lost in the past. Geez, like I wished I didn't do that. I regret this. I wished I didn't say this or do this or whatever. Don't worry about the past. The past is always lessons learned and so on. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. We're all human, right? It's what we learn from it. And this is how you really grow. This is a really big week on growth for all of us. All of us. So let's talk about this strawberry full moon. How many of you are picking strawberries? I mean, I love strawberries myself, of course, right? So, it's kind of a little exciting week for me, but, that's another story. Maybe I'll share on the next Cosmic Vibes video where I'm at and everything. We'll see. But, like I said, you're going to be more compassionate during this full moon, and you're going to be more compassionate for yourself and others and so on. And you're going to see a lot more truth coming out. It's like wherever you are, whatever you're doing, who you're with, where you're at, your environment, so on and so on, you're going to be like, oh my God, wow. Like whenever we face the truth, it can be really, oh my God, why did I do this? All of these things, certain things like that. Don't be hard on yourself. As I'm saying, you're going to hear more truth coming out, more truth being exposed and so on. And you're going to be a lot more creative and taking action during this time too. But it's also time to slow down because some of you are still going through a healing. We have that Chiron energy in us. So the Chiron energy is going to bring up old wounds that we're still processing, dealing with, family, family situations that are really off kilt, that are really off kilter, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Some of you are really going to be traveling around this time too and being a lot more adventurous and be like, whoa, where am I? Let's go here. Let's do that. Maybe some of you are booking that trip. Maybe some of you are there right now where you're at. You're really going to be wanting more freedom, right now, especially during this full moon. And that could be freedom with a relationship that's dragging you down. It could be wanting freedom from your job, freedom from so many responsibilities. Like you're going to be setting more boundaries and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? Wait a minute. I need some time for me, right? Like, oh my goodness sakes, all of those things. Your sleep could be a little bit off, of course, full moon power, energy and everything like that. But it's a lot of healing, and if you can go by the water during this full moon. We can get a lot more emotional during full moons. We get triggered easy. Certain things from the past come up. And this is where that truth serum, as I call it, maybe somebody saying, you know what, this isn't working out with me anymore, or I no longer want this or that, or you're just hearing a lot more truth being exposed, especially more family stuff is going to be coming up even in the next week's Cosmic Vibes. A lot more truth, but we'll talk about that again, like I'm saying, at a different time and everything like that. Now, if you are Sagittarius, like the Sagittarius full moon, you're going to want to find that you're going to want to really express yourself more, being a lot more creative, taking charge of situations, and wanting to see justice and truth prevail. I always like to see justice and truth prevail myself as well, right? Where if you're a Scorpio, you could be like, I'm balancing my finances a lot better. Oh my gosh, I've just paid off my credit card. Or, oh my gosh, I've just saved this amount of money. It could be more of a positive cycle for you, and you're going to take a look at where you're at. You know what I mean? Like we could save a little bit of money. I mean, believe me, my expenses are off the charts. It's huge cost to live, and we all have that huge cost of living. And I can tell you, it's just like, oh my God, really? Really? Taxes? Like, oh my God, like don't even get me going on that. right? Balance is the key with everything. So if you're a Gemini, you're going to want to be reevaluating things. What do you truly want? What direction do you want to move towards? You're going to be seeing that more and more and more. You're going to want to, you're going to start to even let go of even more and more relationships. Relationships can be with anybody, you know, and it's just like, wow, I'm just not in alignment with this person anymore. I keep on hearing an English accent. I was almost gonna like talk in my Irish English accent, but I kept on hearing this for some reason. Um, so really, really, really take charge of your situation. Just let go of certain people that are dragging you down and just, oh, this just isn't working. It can be really sad when we really take a look at certain relationships that I just don't connect with them anymore. We all change. Our experiences shape us into who we are today. The more we have been through more trauma and stuff like that, it changes you. Trauma changes you. It's just like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not the same person. There's ways we can work through that and heal, because you want to work through situations and heal that. And that can be hard to do that. But I take a look at what happened to you. Making sure you take a look at that, but don't dwell on it. Observe what it was, observe what happened. We all have stuff to go through to release to get us to the direction we want to go. This is why your soul brings up certain past traumas during times. I bring that up a lot because that's just going to continue and continue. Certain memories are coming back from once upon a time ago. That's going to continue and continue. Now, if you're a Virgo and a Pisces, you could find that there's a lot more breakthroughs. You're going to be seeing more of your purpose even more. You're going to be like, you know what? I was so dragged down by this or that or this situation. Now I'm feeling a lot more better. I'm going to just really start moving forward and everything like that. I was honest. I spoke my truth. Communicating. You could be communicating better with your partner, just certain people. And it's really important for you at this time just to have faith with everything. Things happen for a reason. It really does. You'll see more of that even next week, by the way, too, by the way. Now, if you're an Aries Leo, you're going to be more passionate. You're going to be following what you're more passionate about. Maybe it's a passion project, whatever it is you're truly passionate about. Maybe you're just planting flowers. Maybe you got some skill sets that you want to explore more, that you're like, I'm really passionate about writing or doing art or doing photography or taking a class, like whatever it is. You're going to be wanting to pursue that even more and more. And you very well could see even more of your soul's purpose and your soul calling coming through more and more and more. And you're going to be like, wow, I'm really drawn to this location. I'm really drawn to this type of work now. I really want to focus on this part of my project or this part of me that I'm really passionate about. That could be anything. Really listen to that. Where if you're a Libra and Taurus, there's some big changes going on right now. You're going to want to move into a whole new direction. You can be like, I've been thinking for quite some time that I want to move towards this direction. You might have kind of looked a little bit here or a little bit there with looking in certain things, but you're going to be like, I really want to start this now. I'm wanting to really move in a different direction altogether. Really listen to your inner voice. Really listen to your intuition right now. Like it's really, really, really important. And get certain things done that you have to be prioritized. Really prioritize. Even Aquarius, you might feel kind of a little bit all over the book right now, all over the page, all over the world with your thoughts in your mind. It's really important for you to really kind of take a step back and really look at, who are you? Stop, like doing all of these other things that are just not you. When you focus on who you are and your gifts, we all have different abilities and gifts and talents. Focus on that. You know what I mean? What are you drawn towards doing? Where's your passions at? If you just kind of go with the flow and copy everybody else, let's just say as an example, it's not going to work for you. We all have our gifts, no matter what it is. I'm not a dentist, so you would not want me working on your teeth. But you know what I mean? Maybe you're a dentist and you're like, yeah, then be a dentist. Be who you are. But just be real, be authentic, be yourself. And you'll be surprised that, boom, ideas are going to spark open your creative side. Really, really tune in and listen to yourself. Really, really important. Really important, especially right now during this full moon time. The full moon, it can be very, very, very healing. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be away during this time before the video goes up. Well, actually, no, next week's video. Well, no. Anyways, we're not even going to go there. Maybe I'll share later with you. But anyways, around the 12th, around June the 12th, as we get towards the end of the week and such like that, there's going to be a lot of shifts going on. You're going to really want to be more adventurous and exploring more, because that full moon could push you a little bit direction. You could be like, oh, this is what I want to do tomorrow or this week. I want to do this. I want to do that. Start writing it down, boom, 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 making points, because you could start really exploring that time and really pay attention to your heart. Where's your heart's direction taking you towards? Oh, I feel a home now. Oh, wow, I really want to change that. This feels right for me. So on and so on and so on. Really listen to that right now. This is your soul redirecting you. Your soul is redirecting you towards a certain direction, a certain place. Your soul wants you to have new experiences, and new experiences could be with relationships, with love, with adventures. Like, it could be with anything. Pursue it, pursue it. When your mind's at conflict, like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Take that pause. Really tune out. You need some quiet time. When you're really conflicted, you're not listening to your soul. And you're conflicted with your heart. What do I do? Well, gosh, my heart's pulling me here, but oh my gosh, I don't know. There's a lot of fear involved. When you make the right decisions, you're just going to feel more at peace. But sometimes when we have to make decisions, it can be very hard and challenging, but when you finally have made a decision, you're like, this isn't working for me anymore, or you will feel more at peace, because whenever you let fear go, fear is what you choose to keep in your mind. Nobody wants to be in a state of fear. God, we've been in all of that crap around the world, from stupidity. Don't get me started on that. And it's more important to stay more in the now. What's going on right now? Like, I have other big decisions to make, but I'm not forcing it. I'm like, okay, let's stay in the now. Let's just kind of see where we're at with things, and with this and this and that. Let's do research. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. That last energy from that new moon, it's all about taking risks and surrendering and having faith with what you're doing, with the direction, with certain things. So you could even be seeing that happening this week coming up, and the full moon here, there's going to be certain more new beginnings for Gemini, Cancer, and Sagittarius. So these new beginnings I'm talking about are a little bit more longer goals. So you could find that you're going to be relocating. You know what? It's time to move. I want to move cities, towns, countries, complete opposite side of the city. I want complete new beginnings. You're going to be resetting your life in a really big way. So those things that you're like, what did I want to change? You could be really getting pulled towards that now. Sometimes we can just jump on something if it's right there in front of us, and it's like, wow, this is the right time. But sometimes you're like, okay, this is what I want, but I can't do this right now. I have to plan for this. So what you're doing this week, you guys, by the way, you're going to see those results coming in February 2026. So this is why it's really important this week to really pay attention and work through these shifts, work through these energies right now, because you will see these results. And this is why you got to take control and hold the lead within yourself. Where do you want to go? You know, some of you are like, you know, I'm done. I just want a new start, a new beginning. New beginnings can happen at any given second when you're ready, like when you're ready to make the change. Oh, but this is going to drag me down. Oh, this is going to take, I had to do that this morning. And I'm like, oh my God, Jenny, you can't keep putting this off. You got to deal with this. Like this morning, don't answer no phone calls, don't answer no messages. Go right there and do this. You know, what time does it open? Boom. I was the first one there. Knock, knock, knock on the door. Hello. Like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I wanted to be the first here because I have to deal with this right now. Right. So look at the priorities, what has to get done. It's really important. Don't ignore your priorities, you guys. When we start ignoring what our priorities is, that can go the opposite direction. So let's just pull a couple of cards here. I don't use cards whenever I do my readings. I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium, do past life Akashic records, animal communications, and so on. However, whenever I'm doing these YouTube videos, I talk more of the collective, let's say. So not all of you guys are going to resonate with these cards. So I've asked people before, do you like me using these cards or not? Right. And I had some feedback saying yes. So I'm going to continue using the cards. So I'm going to use the Colette Baron Reed, the Enchanted Map. There we go. So let's find out what is the message from the 7th to the 12th of June. 7th to the 12th of June. 7th and 12th of June. What's coming up? What's our message? Oh, commitment, commitment, commitment. You know, look at that. Look at that. Commitment number one is to yourself, no matter what. You know how I said that you could want to see changes? You know, you could see this new beginnings of, wow, I want to move in this direction. I want to make these changes. Commit to yourself. Set yourself goals. Set yourself, you know, because what you do on a day-to-day basis will determine your future. Maybe some of you have just gotten proposed to and engaged. Maybe some of you are going to commit to your person, or, you know, your person commits to you. But you have to commit to yourself if you want to see certain changes. You know, we can't depend on all of these other people to do this, and that. We got to depend on ourselves to take the action to make certain things happen, right? Look at that. That's awesome. I like that. I'm not engaged or any of those kinds of things. No commitment, no nothing. Alrighty then. So let's talk to the Goddess Guidance Oracle Chords by Doreen Virtue. I keep on wanting to use an accent. I don't know why. It's like an English Irish accent. There's more, I don't know, I might get more of a message coming through with that. I channel 24/7, by the way. What's the message from June 7th to 12th? June 7th to 12th. What's the message? What's the message? What's the message? June 7th to 12th. Infinite supply. Absolutely. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. When we go into fear, we can be like, oh my God, I don't have enough money for this, and that. Oh my God, this is going to happen. Oh my God, what if that happens? Oh my God, oh my God. Whenever we go into fear, what happens? We create blocks. You know, this is why it's like have trust, have faith, surrender. Keep working towards your goals. The universe has your back. The universe will work with you. You know, like I'm not going to go out and all of a sudden buy like, you know, a brand new home, like if I don't have the money to, right? You know, like just certain things like that. You will always be taken care of with the universe, you know, and be very grateful for the littlest things. I'm always grateful for the littlest things. Like you have no idea. Smallest things, like literally the smallest things. You know, look at that. You're taking time out and you got the water in the background here with the whale energy. Maybe some of you are going by the water, or maybe if some of you are by the water, go by the water. You know, go take a walk by the water. Water is emotions and so on. A lot of people who are empathic and sensitive really connect with the water, right? It's like that healing that they need, that they're, you know, like I need the healing. I need this and this and that, all of these things, right? So let's talk to again here, saints and angels. during virtue. See what messages are coming through from the spirit world from the 7th to the 12th. What messages are coming through? 7th to the 12th. Messages from spirit. 7th to the 12th. Emotions. Whoops. Emotions. I just change this here with you. All right. Okay. So the card that fell down here is emotions. You know, with this full moons, new moons, it can be more emotional. We get more sensitive with things. You know, we can get more emotional as we're going through healings. You know, and it's best to, if we have to make a decision, try not to make that decision when you're very emotional. Because then we're not thinking clearly. We're only going by the fear or the emotion. This is when it's like, okay, I need to make a decision here, especially if it's something like more of a major decision, right? Just take time to review the pros and the cons, the good and the bad and the ugly, and be realistic. But Jenny, I don't know. Oh my God. Sometimes we just have to take a chance. Sometimes we just have to take a risk and do something. That's the only way you're going to know, you know, and especially here, you know, there's a lot of healing going on, as I mentioned, with this Chiron energy. So there's going to be a lot of healing, more compassion towards yourself, more compassion towards humanity, and so on. You know, open your heart and always, you know, you can't really judge other people because they go through different things, and, you know, they might not all talk about it and everything like that. You know, so they're like, wow, this is really difficult. I mean, I talk to so many people per day, all walks of life, you know, and there's so much like conflict, there's so much fear with so many changes. And all we can do is just work with the changes as best as we can. You know, stand in your truth, do what feels right for you. What feels right for you might not feel right for the other person or whoever. But it's like, you know, there's so much conflicts with my person, let's say, then have a heart-to-heart talk with them. Keep it real. Work with this full moon energy. So now, how many of you are subscribed to my channel? I am. Make some comments, you guys. Let me know what's going on. And I will talk to you on the next Cosmic Vibes video. Namaste.